Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, how are you all? Hope all of you are in good health. It's me, Saba, your mathematics teacher for grade 3. Let's start your today's class with the name of Allah. Rabbi shrahli sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. O my Lord, open my chest and ease my task for me. Remove the impediment from my speech so that they may understand what I say. So, in the previous lecture, we started our chapter number 4, that is division. So, today we're gonna continue this chapter, and the next topic that we'll discuss today is long division. That is on your book, page number 64. So, all of you open your books, page number 64. Take your pencils in your hand and keep listening me. So in the previous lecture we discussed short division and today we'll discuss long division, but before starting our today's topic, first we need to understand some important terms that are used in division. So the first term is dividend, or you can say dividend. So what is dividend? Dividend is the number to be divided by another number. Now the next term is divisor. What is divisor? Divisor is a number by which another number is to be divided. That means dividend is a number that we have to divide, and divisor is a number by which we divide this dividend. Okay? So, next term is quotient. Now, what is quotient? Quotient is the result obtained by dividing one quantity by another. So basically quotient is a answer that we obtained by dividing this dividend by the divisor. So the answer obtained by dividing this dividend by the divisor is called as quotient. So now let's look at the example. So example is 48 divided by 6 equals to 8. So here 48 is the dividend, and you can see after the sign of division here is 6, and the 6 is called it as our divisor, and after the sign of equal you can see here is 8, and we called this 8 as our answer, and we called it as the quotient. So here you can see that before the sign of division, the number is, we called it as the dividend, and after the sign of division, the number we called it as the divisor. And keep it in your mind that we always recall the table of the divisor. So here is the divisor 6. So we'll recall the table of 6 to divide this dividend. Okay. Now as we know that 8 times 6 equals to 48. So our answer is 8, and we called the answer as quotient. Understood? Now we solve this example by long division method so that you will understand what is long division method. So before going to discuss long division method, first we just recall the last topic that we discussed in the previous lecture, that is short division method. Then we'll discuss long division method so that you can easily differentiate between both the methods. So we'll solve the same example by short division method. So as I told you in the previous lecture that in short division method we solve the question in just one step. So here you can see our example is 48 divided by 6. So how we solve it? Here our divisor is 6, so we'll recall the table of 6 up to 48 where we get the answer 48. We stop recalling the table of 6. So let's start recalling the table of 6. 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 6 is 18, 4 times 6 is 24, 5 times 6 is 30, 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times 6 is 42, 8 times 6 is 48. So how many times 6 equals to 48? 8 times. So we stop recalling the table of 6 here because here we get our answer, that is 48. So we'll write 8 here because 8 times 6 is equals to 48. So we'll write this 8 in this given blank. Understood? Now we solve the same example by long division method. So in long division method we solve the question in several steps. Means in more than one steps we solve the same question. So basically long division method is a stepwise method in which we solve the question in several steps. Okay, now 48 divided by 6. So in long division method we use a sign that we called it as square root. So this is the sign that we called it as square root, and we always write the divisor outside the square root and we'll write the dividend inside the square root. So here you can see our divisor is 6, so we'll write the 6 outside the root, and 48 is our dividend, so we'll write dividend inside the root. Now we'll start solving this question. So for that we recall the table of 6. So how many times 6 equals to 48? We know that 8 times 6 equals to 48. So here you can see we'll write 8 at the top like this, and now we'll write 48 again below. That means out of 48 we solve 48. There is no leftover, there is no remainder. So we'll subtract it. So 48 minus 48 equals to 0. So we'll write 0 in the last step. So this is how we solved it. Here is no any number after 8. So that's it. This question is solved. So our answer here is 8. Understood? Now we solve one more question. So that is from your practice zone. Page number 65. Question number 1, part A. 27 divided by 3 equals to what? So here you will have to solve it. So here, as I told you before, the number before sign of division we called it as the dividend, and the number after the sign of division we called it as our divisor. So 3 is the divisor, 27 is our dividend. So we'll write 3 outside the square root and we'll write the dividend inside the square root. So we'll write 27 inside. Now we'll recall the table of 3. Now tell me, first digit here is 2, but 2 is less than 3. So we can't solve it by taking just one digit. So we'll also take the second digit along. So now tell me how many times 3 equals to 27. So we know that 9 times 3 equals to 27. So we'll write 9 at the top like this. And now we'll subtract 27 from 27. That means we solved 27 out of 27. There is no remainder, there is no leftover. So we'll write 27 minus 27 equals to 0. Now you can also check your answer that whether you solve the question correctly or not. So how you can check your answer? So here is a small formula, or you can say small trick to check your answer. So how you check your answer? For that you need to multiply your divisor with your answer, with your quotient. So if you multiply this quotient with your divisor and you will get the dividend as your answer, that means you solve the question correctly. So let's have a solve, or let's have a check our answer. So for that we'll multiply 3 with 9. So you can see 3 multiplied by 9 is equals to 27. If you recall the table of 9 up to 3, or you can recall the table of 3 up to 9, you'll get the answer 27. That means you solve the question correctly. So this is a short method to check your answer. Okay. Now we'll discuss the properties of division. So what are the properties of division? Here are just two properties. The first property is when a number is divided by itself, the quotient is 1. For example, if you divide 4 by 4, you'll get the answer 1. Now the second example is when a number is divided by 1, the quotient is the number itself. For example, if you divide 4 by 1, you'll get the answer 4. That means this property is similar to the 1's property of multiplication, that if you multiply 1 with any number, you will get the answer, the same number. And similarly, if you divide any number by 1, you will get the same number as our answer. So you can see here 4 divided by 1. So if we divide 4 by 1, we will get the answer 4. Now we'll just look at the example that if you have 4 bunches of grapes, so how, and you have to distribute these 4 bunches of grapes into 4 people, so how you divide it? So if you have 4 bunches of grapes, so you'll divide these 4 bunches into 4 people by giving them 1. Yes? So that is why we write here 4. If you have 4 grapes, 4 bunches of grape, and you have to divide it into 4 peoples, so each people will get 1 bunch of grape. Yes? Similarly, if you have 4 grapes, yes, if you have 4 bunches of grapes and you have to divide these 4 bunches into just 1 people, you just have 1 people that you have to give them bunches of grapes. So what you'll do, you'll give all the 4 bunches of grapes to that 1 person, so that 1 person will get then 4 bunches of grapes. Understood? So hope you understood today's lecture. Your task is to do part B, C and D of question number 1 of page 65 on your book. I solved just part A in the today's lecture. You solve the other 3 parts of this question on your book. So best of luck for your home task. Jazakallahu khair.